to the university hosting us. So my name is Banjamin Miller, and I'm from USA, but I have lived in India for 4 years. I came to Delhi in 2017 to meet my web developers in Noida, and I was supposed to stay for 2 weeks, but I ended up staying for 2 years, and that is because of Tinder. So that's when I met my ex-girlfriend, Northeastern stylist. If you know, Delhi has a big fashion community, so that was very interesting to be surrounded by models and going to photo shoots all the time. And she's currently my best friend, basically. So we ended on good terms. But what happened is COVID happened, and I got a little lonely running my startup in Mexico. So tried to see family and friends at home, but couldn't really make it work. And one thing you'll discover if you do startups is that a little life hack is to move to a less expensive country if you need more runway. In entrepreneurship, runway means how many weeks or months remain before you're gonna run out of money and go out of business. So if I had stayed in US, I would have had to get a job. But as we are here today to make jobs, that was not an option, so I tried Mexico. Came back to India 2021 after they finally allowed travel internationally again during COVID. So I was in Delhi for 5 months doing some startups like a health and wellness NGO called Healing Without Borders, where I met my current co-founder, and the co-working franchise that I'm working with now. I was using their office. Now I'm opening their office in Indore, which is their first time leaving Delhi as a franchise. So what happened in 2021? Delhi was good, but then I found out this best friend of mine had started dating this diplomat, European ambassador, secretly. And he found out and he was gonna break up with her. So she and her sister, both fashion divas in Delhi, sent me off to Goa to stay in their luxury resort in Arambol without paying enough. So at that time, something amazing happened is I was doing the wellness NGO still, and I suddenly discovered myself performing paid hip hop shows as a professional rapper all over North Goa. Something I did not expect, but it was an amazing experience. However, I also fell in love again. This time she was from Agra, and I had a job opening in Spain. I was supposed to take this flight to Spain to onboard co-working offices to an aggregator app that I use myself to check into co-working offices in US. They wanted me to do it in Valencia, which is near Barcelona. But I skipped my flight because of this love interest, and that's when I ran into visa issues. And unlike other countries, in India, if you have any visa issue, instead of deporting you, they contain you. Kind of like how we are contained here in this audience. So they also do not allow foreigners to stay in any hotels without a visa. Now, I did have a visa, but if you don't get registered with the foreign registration office within 6 months, you are basically invalid. So what to do? This is the moment that you know you are an entrepreneur or not, because every business starts with a problem. So if India can be very challenging for foreigners, and I would know that better than anyone after 4 years, you know. But now, because of all my experience, I have access to UPI, for example. I have a flat rented in Indore. So why not help others? So now, in the last few months, we have registered a company called DigiNomo Private Limited with a co-founder in Delhi I mentioned. So, as a digital nomad who sees that every problem is also a solution and an opportunity, what I did is I started a hospitality marketing company in Goa and started traveling across India, helping hotels and getting free stays in exchange for this. That went really well. I spent 4 months in Manali without paying a single night and without a visa. So it worked. And now the question is how to connect the dots to Indore. So 2023, at the beginning of 2023, I'm running a hospitality marketing company in Manali. So how did I end up here? What happened is one of the speakers said, choose your co-founders carefully. That's very true. I've done a lot of startups in the past 12 years, and it is very hard to find co-founders, and it's even harder to find good co-founders. And yes, it is like getting married, especially in India, if you found a company together as directors. So in India, a lot of aunties and uncles will ask me why I'm not married and do I have any kids. It's like, dude, I have a dozen kids. Every brand I launch is my baby, and every co-founder is my husband, my work husband. So I'm a bit invested and not available. Like Sartak said that he lost his friends, unfortunately. Trust me, you will also. So what I really want to emphasize is something someone told me once, but I'll do it in the form of a question. Like, do we have any psychology students here tonight? 1, 2, okay. So we need a definition of bipolar disorder. Oh, you don't have a mic.
Sir, actually I was quite interested in psychology. Means I have not read anything about psychology, but because I just observe what I am thinking right now, and according to that thinking, I am just trying to understand how a human brain thinks. How a human brain thinks.
Interesting. Or how the entrepreneur's brain thinks, which is very different. And where to start? I think I'm going to have to speak with you individually after, because I've already gone in this direction with the story, and now I went in this one, and now I need to tie it all together because I only have a few more minutes. So let me finish the first story and then maybe wrap up that part. The story where we left was 2023, hospitality marketing. So started taking meetings and networking all across India. I mean, I was not allowed to leave anyway. And I must have spent 1 out of every 15 nights on an overnight bus, like Goa to Pune, Pune to Hyderabad, to Indore to Delhi, to Indore to Delhi. And what happened is, along the way, we found an amazing office in Vijayanagar. and I just fell in love with it. It's above Crush Coffee at the Hub in 78. There's like a statue in front of the elegant cafe. Everything was just amazing. And I just rented it. The first day I saw it, but it was way too big for my little office needs. I just needed a small team doing sales. So if the very same night, came up with a business model to do co-working. Too much space, let's share it with other people. So that was the plan, and our business model is to go beyond the basics. So every co-working office has Wi-Fi, coffee, desks, but we offer things like podcast studios, bad talks, and personal assistance, and a lot of other innovations. So we're beta testing this in indoor now, but hopefully expanding the model across India and beyond. Beyond is actually the name. It's Beyond Co-working. And it is the product of the Diginomo company that I mentioned. So the way that it's connected is that digital nomads require flexibility. They can't join the gym for a contract. They can't sign a rental agreement potentially. They can't commit to an office or a girlfriend. So that's called the sharing economy and the flex economy, which overlap quite a bit, but we don't have to go into that too much. So what we're doing is registering a parent company in the US. It's called World Play. You know, work should be fun, and we can turn it into a game. So we can also play with the world quite literally. It's called social innovation. So there is entrepreneurship, but there's also let's not forget about the public sector. And I'm not talking about the government, I'm talking about NGOs, like Furry Friends Alliance, which Siddhant will tell you about. That's one that we're working on. And so our mission with WorldPlay is to help social entrepreneurs. Social entrepreneurs, anyone can give a definition? Okay, maybe I can change some lives then. Social entrepreneurship is using business to help people and the planet. So everyone thinks NGOs are the only way to go, but in my opinion, all the problems in the world are mostly due to business. And all the problems in the world can mostly be fixed by business alone. And it's up to us as consumers to really charge this by demanding that the companies that we buy from are supporting the causes that we care about, like employing females or putting females on the C-suite, CEO, COO, CFO. If you Google it, you'll see globally it's 5% or less of C-suite positions. And yet women are the ones who purchase everything. I believe it's 86% of shopping is done by females. So ladies, if you can just unite somehow and only shop with companies who promote people like you, I believe that the problem would be fixed almost instantaneously, because companies have a lot of flexibility. They only care about serving their customers. So if their customers demand something, the company is more than happy to oblige. Or they might go out of business if they don't. So now you know a little about the structure. Social entrepreneurship think tank in the US with Diginomo Private Limited as subsidiary in India, working on co-working and co-living and things like that. But way too much to talk about now. We still have some other sections, so maybe we can get into questions after this. I'll take my leave now. Nice to meet you.